We're here with Diane Berry of Diane Berry Kitchens in Manchester, one of our Fusion users. Diane will open a business in 2002 and has been in the industry now for 35 years. She started using Fusion back in 2000. Her passion is for spatial design, making sure that the area for the kitchen is right, studying the family and their needs, and the house to make alterations that make their homes fit for their lifestyle. The process will involve going over the questions that we receive first. Then we'll have a live Q&A session where you can submit written questions and we'll answer them verbally. I would like to remind you the webinar today is specifically around Diane's business and not the features or functions of the Fusion product. I'd like to pass you over now to Diane to introduce herself and talk about her business and the awards that she's won.
Hello everyone, I'm Diane and I have a kitchen business in North Manchester. We have a team of 11 and we probably install around about 60 kitchens a year. So we're using the Fusion product to support all our ideas and our design work. Now we have a lovely team of people, and I believe that people are what make my business a success. So we've got designers, we've got installation managers, and we also have our own team of installers. That makes us quite different. So as I think most people will know that I enter lots of the design competitions to try and improve my visibility. So entering competitions like KBB Review is something that is quite important to us. So we have won, last year we won Master Retailers, we've won KBSA. So there's a full list that anyone can have a read about. Any questions we can talk about later.
Okay, thanks Diane. So we'll go to the first question. What is your business differentiation point and how do you promote it? So could you just explain why Diane Berry are so unique in what they do?
Well, we're very proud of the fact that we're the best designers, so and we're quite happy to shout about it. So we take a lot of time to sit with our clients and make sure that we get to know them. So there's lots of kitchen businesses out there that offer great products and similar materials like the same appliances and work surfaces, but what they don't have is the right people asking the right questions. So our customers come first, so time and effort to get to know them is really what we're all about, is sitting, asking all the right questions and then knowing when to be quiet and listen. So all about the client, definitely all about the client.
Okay, thanks Diane. Question number 2. How do you leverage your blog and social media for your business? So could you just explain what media channels you use and how you monitor the success?
What we like to do is every kitchen that we install, we send professional photographers out to take pictures. So even if we've not got the time to get professional shots, we'll go and do snapshots. But all of those images are put on Homify. We use them for Twitter, Facebook, and recently we've just started to use Instagram, which is a very fast turnaround. But without the good design and the nice kitchens, you haven't got the materials. So the focus is always get your kitchens going in well, photograph them, and then use those as much as you can on various social media, which is just fantastic because it's all free.
Okay, great news. Second question, and this is the big one. What is the best advice you can give someone who wants to start working in this industry that's called the kitchen design industry?
Don't do it. It has to be don't do it. Our industry isn't for the faint-hearted. You'll always be working evenings and weekends. It's a total addiction for me, but it's all-encompassing and hard to get respect, as the industry is completely littered with mediocre salespeople. Controversial, I know. So think long and hard. So Saturdays and evenings won't be yours for a very long time. And sadly, you know, you can go to a client as an architect and they'll sit down and they'll listen to everything that you're saying because they're paying for your time. And you can go to a client as a kitchen designer and you're treated like a salesperson. So you have to almost try and produce a thick skin to decide if you can cope with it, because people will take every idea you've got and go and buy it from a different source. So think long and hard, decide if you can cope with the long hours and the tough trade that it is, and then once you've decided that's for you, just embrace it and enjoy it, because it is a roller coaster, and you get to work in some lovely people's homes and get to see some amazing end results. It's quite a good feeling.
And after 35 years, obviously, I can still feel the passion, Diane, in your voice, even though you're telling people not to bother doing it. So, yeah, it does get you, doesn't it? Okay, second question. So, bringing in the Fusion product, can you describe the flow of your interaction with customers and the points at which the 2020 Fusion product is brought into the process, please?
Well, the whole process starts with a visit to the client's house. So we go and visit the client's house. At that point, we're not using Fusion at all. But as soon as they come in, using the Fusion package. So what you get is first time the clients walk through the door after I've visited the house, they're coming in, they're seeing the plans, and really most people skip straight to the renders. So we print the renders out on glossy paper, lay them out in front of them one by one, and we build them up. We don't lay them all out, we lay them out and try and talk them through, and it's a lovely feeling to see their faces light up when they suddenly realise it's actually their space they're seeing. So it's for us, it's the most important tool that we use.
And also using the Fusion product, Diane, I mean, through the presentation, being in such a competitive industry we're in, do you actually allow your customers to take these pictures away with them?
Never, never. So I suppose we're a little bit different in that we have two different services. One service is where people can't take away any work, so everything stays with us. But we do offer a service where clients pay £2,000 upfront fee, and they get to have all of their work emailed to them, and then have it in front of them. They can print it. We put it in big folders depending on where they are in the country. And so when they're paying their fee, which seems to be the way that our business is moving, we're very happy to release drawings. But other than that, no, we don't.
Okay, but you do a survey. You would go to the customer's house and do a survey first and measure, because you get a lot of customers who try and measure their own kitchens and come in measurements. How would you handle that process?
If it's an existing space, we would rarely work off a client's measurements. We would 90% of the time go out and see the room. I don't believe that it's great to work off clients' measurements, because you get no feeling of light, feeling of the property, where the sunlight shines in, what the views are. It also puts us on a little bit on the back foot for the Fusion product, because we would like to be able to get photographs of the garden so that we can incorporate those images into the visuals, and then you get them back on board when they suddenly see this beautiful kitchen design, but the view out of the window is actually their view. So we try whenever we can to go out.
So basically using the Fusion product for the whole process. So when a customer comes in, the unique point for your business is that you use Fusion to replicate every part of the kitchen, the garden, the scenery, the worktop, the flooring. You also take on board customers' interior design choices like wallpapers, floors, etc.?
Well, we do. We offer the full service, but just skip back to why Fusion fits so well for us, is that if a client's got a piece of art on the wall and we're going to reuse it, I will take a photograph of that piece of art, and then we will flip it in and incorporate it into the renders. So the art that's on the wall can be theirs. If they've got pictures of children or wedding days or even favourite pets, I've even taken pictures of people's cats, and then we've put them in a picture frame on the wall. So to try and do everything that we can to use all the functions of the Fusion program, but to be able to personalise that render, so that not only do they feel emotionally attached to the room when they see it, because it's for them, but it also makes us a bit different to our competition.
And with the presentation being done, Dan, how do you feel it would speed up the decision-making process? So obviously a lot of people are using different methods to present, but as the whole package, how do you feel that speeds up your sales process?
It varies from client to client. So some people, it takes them a long time to almost put their barriers down and relax and enjoy the process. The thing that I think the industry forgets is that the kitchen is probably the second largest purchase that client will make. And also, sometimes it's the third, because some people spend a lot of money on their cars, but usually the first purchase is the house. So being able to make it so it's an enjoyable process, I don't want to rush them, but I want them to feel completely enjoying the process so that they just bond with you straight away. So all of those things speeds up the decision that they're going to buy a kitchen from us, but then we would never rush them. We would then make it an enjoyable, slow, easy process that they're enjoying, and we discuss every last detail of the kitchen. And the renders would often be changed 5, 6, 7 times till we get every little detail right for them.
Okay, thanks, Dan. So we'll go to another question sent in by one of the participants. So as you're an Alno dealer looking after Manchester, and we get a lot of different design trends, how do you see Fusion helps to incorporate those trends and designs for the end customers?
It's great that Alno works very closely with Fusion, so it makes doing the renders and the drawings very easy, because when we're picking a door or a range, everything's there, so you've got the ease of being able to just put the code of a cupboard, and it comes in the right colour with the right handle on it. So the fact that the two companies work so well together, that makes it very easy for us. We're also exclusive in the fact that we only sell Alno, so it makes changing. So if the customer decides she wants to change a colour, it's a very easy press of a button, because there's no change of dimensions of cupboards or anything. You can just start to change. So I think keeping your business very pure and dealing with one brand is essential for my style of business. And I think that too many people try to be all things to all men. Decide who you are and what you are, make your message clear, and then use the benefits of Fusion, the fact that they've got a good bond between various manufacturers, and work with those manufacturers, and it'll make the process very easy.
And also, as Fusion, we have a lot of catalogues for appliances and sinks, etc. Do you use those in the process? Are they available to the customer also in the design?
Yeah, we work with lots of different products. So we things like Neff and Miele, and they're all there, and we'll be able to get all the different colours and various renders so that everything is accurate as we're filling it in. And many times we're making things out of boxes, so there's always a facility if something's unique or special, and I'm doing something that's a little bit off the wall. I'm able to then use all the different colour selections and boxes to create something that's just for us, even if it's outside of the manufacturers that are there.
Okay, thanks. We move on. So they've got some of Diane's renderings on screen, so you can see. I mean, how would you describe the process for this, Diane?
Well, this is a particularly interesting kitchen, because where you're seeing the island, that was actually a lounge. So it was very challenging for the client to understand why I was suggesting that this lounge that they never used should actually be where the kitchen should be. So it made it, if you look at the visual and then look at the actual room when we finished it, it was very easy for them to realise what I wanted to do with the space, because the like is actually there for them to see. It is actually their view, so a different time of year, so that's snow on all the tops when I photographed it after we'd installed it. But the clients just couldn't believe what they saw. This kitchen was actually sold on the first presentation, and was a lot of money, as you can imagine. But because they could understand that this room that they'd only ever seen with sofas and televisions in it could be a fantastic working feature island facing all of the views of the valley, just made it, for me, very easy to get my message that I wanted to get across about design and why this room should, in fact, be a kitchen.
And you can see, as you mentioned before, Dan, a lot of detail there for the scenery and the work. So how difficult would you think it to sell a kitchen like that without Fusion?
Very, very difficult. I mean, because I've done the job for 35 years, we would have, in years gone by, drawn that by hand. But what you would never have got was a feel of the view. So we'd have always been trying to deal with how on earth you draw windows. You'd have almost only been looking at the room with no emotion linked to the view. And so the fact that you've got this amazing feature where we can take photographs and drop the views in makes it so much easier. And really, the clients can actually get a touchy feel from you know, the way the light shines on the curve as it goes down. And if you look at the top render, you can see the light shining on the curve. Makes it very easy to talk about that and demonstrate it, whereas if you're drawing that by hand, it would have been very, very hard to do. Years gone by, would have been doing watercolours of that, and that probably would have took us a day just to present one visual like that, whereas now we can probably do it in an hour.
I know, and it's an amazing picture, Dan. Obviously, a lot of talent in your team as well using our products. The next one, wow. I mean, there's a lot of detail in this. Obviously, you've got curves and tables and pictures. Can you give us a little bit of a story about this design?
And this is the same kitchen. So what you're seeing now is the back section of the kitchen. So this client had the kitchen where this bench set was. So they stood in the kitchen facing the wall where the television is, with only a flavour of the view beyond it, because this big wall was in the way that couldn't be taken out because it holds the back of the house up. So now we've been able to create this fantastic cosy booth where the family can sit and watch television and enjoy the booth. And the cupboards at the back, if you look at the photograph, you can see all the doors are closed. But if you look at the render, the two doors in the centre open and slide away, and that's the breakfast cupboard. So the family come to this point and make their breakfast and then come and sit in the booth. And so it just allowed them, again, to understand that what was the kitchen is now a dining room. And it made it very easy with the Fusion rendering to demonstrate the quirky shaped open unit that I've done under the television. And you know, that's an expensive piece, so the fact they could see it in a visual made it quite an easy thing for them to just say, yep, I want it, and buy it.
Great. Fantastic work. Another question. What are the various touch points in your business of Fusion? So, using the sales process, could you just explain where Fusion comes into the design process or where it ends?
It's definitely turning into a sales pitch for Fusion, guys. I'm so sorry. So, I mean, for us, it's soon as we've done our first design, it's all about the renders. We have a television screen where we also put the renders on the screen, so sometimes we surprise the client and they can be stood in the show and saying, I like that kitchen, and it's on the television screen, and then we say it's yours. And they don't really get it, so it takes a while for them to register as to how well this package works for us, because it just helps them to actually understand the room. So anybody in the kitchen business will know that if you can get them to understand your design, then they can interact, fine-tune it, and actually you can start to bring it right the way through the process. But it's all about the picture. That's definitely all about the picture.
Pictures say a million words, Diane, yeah? Yeah. I'd just like to remind everybody that we are still taking questions. I can see there's 5 new questions being submitted during the first 20 minutes of the webinar. So there is a Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to submit your question, that'll let me pass through to myself and Diane. Like I say, we're going to be finishing no later than 2 o'clock, so you've got plenty of time to think of some useful questions which may help you as kitchen retailers, or understanding how Fusion can help businesses. Okay, another question. This is not a sales pitch, Dan. What, in your opinion, this is from a participant, this is not me. What, in your opinion, is the most useful feature of 2020 Fusion? It's got a bit of pictures, yeah?
Yeah. Got to be. Sorry, yeah, I think it's got to be being able to personalise it. So, you know, what's come over the years as I've been using it is being able to bring in different things. So, for example, if you've got a client that absolutely loves, I don't know, greyhounds or horses, that you can actually just go on the internet and find pictures of things that interest them and put them on the wall. So you're actually always being able to make it about them. It also shows that you're listening and you're observant. So make sure you get it right, because there's nothing worse than seeing somebody that enjoys, preserving birds, and you show something of a shoot, a grouse shoot or something like that. So make sure you get it right. So if you're not going to, observe and get it right, then don't do it. But definitely the best feature is being able to personalise these images.
Great news. Okay. Next question. Which design challenges did you or your team face, and how, if there were such instances, did you take advantage of Fusion's flexible tools to achieve the required results? I mean, looking at some of the kitchens that you've shown so far, Diane, you seem to have used every single feature that Fusion offers you to your very great advantage.
I have to say I'm completely spoilt by David. So David is the gentleman that does 90% of renders for the kitchens that I work on. So David knows this system inside and out and is able to do pretty much anything. If you look at some of the renders that we'll try and show you later, you'll see that we're able to do coffered ceilings, multi-level ceilings, LED lighting, angled roofs, glass roofs. So the functions are all there. It's just spending the time to learn how to use it to be able to do some of these amazing spaces that we all get to work in. Big one is speed of render. I'd say that's is trying to get the huge spaces rendered. So sometimes we'll have two machines running at the same time with two sets of visuals so that we can get one rendering and then carry on working. But yeah, it's all about the picture again.
I think the next question, Diane, takes us into some of your examples, because a lot of customers and participants are asking to see sort of some of the flexible designs you produce. So I think, can we share these on the screen now? Okay.
So we put a few together here just to give you a flavour of what we do. I don't normally show all my work because I like to try and protect myself, but the sooner that everybody starts to enjoy what people should be enjoying when they're seeing their kitchens drawn, the better. Because at the moment the industry almost needs pulling up a level to show what customers should be receiving. So this is how I think renders should be. We spent lots of time trying to choose the right brick colour to what this client wanted. And you can see that the different colours and the light fittings and, you know, the coffered ceiling, which is a double level ceiling above the island, is floodlit. The chopping block that's on the island is actually hiding a gas hob. So that was designed so that when the Argus switched off, they can slide that to one side and actually use it. This one, again, you can see that is actually that client's view. So you're seeing their kitchen. And again, we've done, David, who does all my pictures, has done the multi-level ceiling. So this is design work to show that we're hiding RSJs, because this is actually currently 3 rooms. So when we knock the 3 rooms together and it becomes one, we'll have RSJs going across the room. So rather than just leave those boxed across the room, we've done the squares around the room to create that look. And if you look at the pictures, again, I know you're all probably getting bored of me now, the clients love dogs and Brian Ferry. So lots of chat, lots of listening and lots of notes to make sure you get your clients right and the different features. There's another. This is a full kosher kitchen. So as you look at it, you've got a section in the centre that's got all the ovens, and the kitchen going to the left is the milky kitchen, the kitchen going round to the right is the meaty kitchen, and the island is the parav. So anyone that's working with the Jewish community will appreciate that their kitchens are very complicated, and you spend a lot of time with them to make sure that you can get them to understand what your concept is for the space, and then we've got to work out how we maximise all the storage for the various needs that they have. You see the light fitting we put in there, that's completely made up out of rods and balls, so that's not something we've been able to scoop up. We've taken the time to create that so that it's actually like a light fitting that we were recommending. Let's have a look at another. So this is a kitchen that actually, if anyone visited Grand Designs last year, that's the kitchen from Grand Designs. So the clients that came to the show bought the kitchen, and that's how we then presented it in their space. So I designed the extension to suit the kitchen, and then we worked on the ceiling detail to create the double height. And again, another render. So working with different light fittings and trying to create the right lighting. This is the standard views from the Fusion range, and this is because this is a new build. So this is just done from architect's drawings, so I don't have the benefit of being able to use the actual room views. There's another shot. And that's going back to the one that I talked about before, so that's a different render showing you that shaped island that was in the lounge area, and now looking back, you've got that booth area sitting at the back. And there it is again. Interestingly, the same house, this is their utility room. So we do renders even for rooms where we actually didn't even install this. We left this for the builder to do. But to make sure the client got what they wanted, we drew it for them. And then all the existing appliances were fitted in this room for parties. So now we've got the render of the one that you saw previously. So this, again, we're able to show things like the breakfast unit, open or closed, and the unit on the right-hand side, which is under the television. We started off with the colour blue there. It is, in fact, now installed with black glass. So it just goes to show that just doing the renders can help clients vary and change the colours and what they're thinking of doing.
Well, talk about me doing a sales pitch, Diane. I think you've just done my job for me with those pictures there. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Hopefully that's given some of the participants some insight as of what our product can do. Okay, we've got some live questions, Diane, if I can answer these as they're coming in. So, you work with a specific manufacturer, Alno. What would you describe as the key strengths of the relationship?
How do you answer that question? I mean, I love the Alno products. I don't know if anyone knows my history, but when I was 16, which is a very long time ago, I did my first design course with Alno. So years gone by, they had a studio near Manchester Airport, and they would take young up-and-coming designers there, and you would be indoctrinated in the way of Alno. So Alno has been at the heart of me for a very long time. I enjoy working with it. I enjoy German furniture, full stop. My father, who was a designer who also taught me, he had a passion for French kitchens. And I think when you've been brought up as 16, 17, 18, doing all these oak-fielded panels, you can't wait to get to do something fresh and bright and easy to clean and functional. So Alno as a manufacturer is something that goes back a long, long time for me. My parents had an Alno studio, and therefore it seemed a natural progression for me to take on Alno and to enjoy building that relationship. Amazing company, amazing products. Now, when you walk around their factory, you could just see the investment and the passion that they have for kitchens. So I really enjoyed working with them, and they have some great doors. So I hope that gives someone an idea of why I'm an Alno person.
Okay, one more. Do you create a paper portfolio for your customers using materials from Fusion? What's the typical makeup of this? So I think what the question is being, do you actually print everything off as a portfolio, or do you present using the computer screen?
Nearly always on paper. So generally it's printed on glossy photo paper. If I've got time, I like to trim them all, present them on a black card, and stick them all to the black card and put them in an order that goes with how I would present the design. So that's, that all depends on how busy I am, but always printed on glossy paper. We put them on screen just as a talking point, but I actually think that people like to hold them and look at them, and it's good fun being able to actually touch and feel, and then you get your client sitting at a table with you all relaxed, not staring at a big screen, wanting to go forward, back all the time. So I think that probably comes with age. I'm a bit old school, is that I like to print it.
Okay, thanks. I think we've sort of covered this a little bit, but we've got one here. What emphasis do you put on lighting and rendering within a design? I think some of your examples have shown that, but a big part of the design process?
Huge. It's actually a talent being able to know how to light and render the shots, and I think that Fusion are probably the best team to talk you through how to do that. I know we've got some little tricks of the trade, but a good kitchen is only good if it's lit well. So lighting as a designer is really important to me. So therefore trying to give the impression of how I'm going to light the room on the render is really important. So you'll see as you look through some of the various renders I've presented to you, sometimes I'm using twin fittings or single fittings in a row, trying to get the light symmetrical on the units. So lighting, is the be-all and the end-all of a good kitchen. At the very end of it, once you've sorted it all out, if it's not lit well, you'll kill it. So trying to get the renders lit well just shows that that's the attention to detail we have with the kitchens at the end.
And another question that's linked that, Dan, which specific fusion renders do you use? Obviously we do bird's eye views, renders views, but do you mainly concentrate on the photorealistic options?
Rarely use bird's eye. It's not an option that I would ever choose to use. It's not something that the client would ever see, so we're always trying to get it to look like a picture, photo of the room as you walk in. So always those views. Obviously use all the quick tools when you're trying to sort out your colours and your design, but everything that the client would see will be in full render as a photo.
Thanks. Another one. Getting busy now, Dan. We could be here for a long time. We could be here for a long time. Do customers expect detailed plans and elevations too? To a point. Plans, yes. Elevations, no. I try to avoid working from elevations because it just ends up too confusing. So I would always print a plan. Try not to put too much detail on it because they read it rather than follow what you're talking about. So just the essential prompts to remind yourself of the design, but don't fill it with too much information. You know, use a pencil, decide where you're going to start from the design, talk your way around it from one side to the other, and get to the renders. You'll find I chat a lot to the clients about, you know, can they visualize a plan? And most clients will tell you. So ask them, do you understand the plan? And you might get a husband that says yes and a wife that says no, or vice versa. And then if you've got someone that says I can't really follow that, just skip straight to your visuals. You can always go back to the plan. And some people, you know, if you're working with an engineer, they're automatically going to go back to the plan. But don't worry about elevations. Elevations come later when I'm doing plumbing and electrical drawings. That's then another essential tool for doing the full service. But it shouldn't be that important at the stage of design and selling and explaining your design. It's something, interestingly, that a lot of handmade kitchen companies try to do because they're always talking about how to manufacture it. But when you're working with German furniture, plan and visuals, that's all you need. Okay, and another one here regarding our import of decorative items. I mean, looking at some of the fantastic visuals you've done, a lot of decoration, a lot of pictures, a lot of accessories. Do you use the Fusion Google SketchUp feature, or do you mainly use the standard Fusion advanced graphic shapes?
We try to use SketchUp quite a lot. Some of the problems that we have with some of the big rooms that we do is if we put too many things in, the renders are too slow. So the thing to do is get your design right, get your lighting right, get your colours right, and at the very end, once you're happy with the room and you're there with the design and everything, then bring in the things that take a while to render. Just be careful not to get too excited and bring them in too soon because you then spend a lot of time rendering, and you'll see that they even slow up the render of a plan. So be careful not to put too many in, otherwise you'll just have your team sitting rendering and rendering. So yes, we do, but with control.
Okay, another one here. Over what timeline does the overall sales and design process take? Specifically, how many revisions of the design would you expect to do?
Wouldn't life be easy if it was all the same? Sometimes it's there and then, so sometimes I get it right first time, and you'll just get somebody on board. So the kitchen I showed you where I changed it over from one room to the other. I met them on the survey, did one presentation, and within 2.5 hours had an order. I wish they were all like that. Most of the work that we do probably has a process of two to three meetings, and each meeting will take 2 to 3 hours. And then it's all about the client. It's just remembering those meetings are them making a very special purchase. So if somebody arrives at lunchtime, we get them lunch. We get cakes. We do nice pots of tea. So it's all making the process a pleasure. But to answer your question, it's really, really tough because it just varies so much. I'd be very surprised if I sell a kitchen on first presentation. Generally, it will be 3 to 4 meetings down the line, and I've had them last a year. So varies all the time.
Okay, another one. Obviously, we've got a lot of emphasis on the lighting. The question is, does the Action lighting solution form part of the sale? I.e., obviously, you're not selling just the kitchen, but the whole environment, inclusive lights?
Well, we do everything. I think that's possibly where we're slightly different is that we do lighting design, heating. I do heat calculations for the size of the radiators. We do underfloor design. So if someone's got underfloor heating...
I found out how. I'm connected, if you want to hear.
Hello, can you still hear us?
I'm back again. Sorry about that. I could hear somebody on the line. So we do the full service. So we do design work for central heating. We do design work for lighting. We talk about extraction. We do paint finishes. We do floor tiles. We have a selection of wallpapers. So we're always looking at the whole interior design package, because you need to grasp every opportunity to be different than the shop down the road. Because lots of kitchen companies out there can sell cupboards and worktops and appliances, but what they can't do is interior design and spatial design. So the thing that makes us better than everybody else is that we can do all of those things. So lighting design, I understand about the different spread of lights, LED lights, the different colours. We have lights here that we can plug in and show people how the light shines on the floor tiles that they're choosing, and making sure that they understand that they need to invest money in design. Don't always sell all the big pendants because I'm not a big enough studio to display them. We spend a lot of time working on various websites to give people hints and ideas as to the overall look that we're trying to help them get.
Okay, and also you have quite an exclusive client base. How many showrooms do you think your average client comes to see? Obviously, you're very well known in the industry and the area, but do clients come straight to you, or do you see a lot of clients going elsewhere?
I'd say that most people are quite savvy, and they'll go and do the homework. So they'll go from studio to studio to studio, and which I love. And so to me, the more places they go, the more they can realise the difference in the atmosphere and the friendliness and and the kind of work that we're doing here. So I want people to go shopping around. I don't mind it at all. And I think that people still often go and get 2, 3 different designs and quotes, which is fair dues. I think the thing that the industry needs to do is start to respect each other's design work. And if somebody walks in with a plan from somebody else, I won't look at it. I don't want to see it. So if somebody walks in here with a design from another kitchen shop, I think that if we all said, don't want to see it, judge me on what the work that I can do, then I think people might start to respect us and stop seeing us as hard-nosed salespeople, and actually see us more as interior designers and architects, which is really where we should be. So I spend a lot of time trying to convince people that I don't want to see other people's work. I want to show them what I can do, and then choose if you want to work with me and my team based on what our capabilities are, and not because we can copy somebody else and be 5% cheaper.
Another one. How else is your keenness on detail expressing your designs?
Obsessive, I would say. I'm completely obsessed. So one of my favourite sayings is the devil's in the detail. So, yeah, I think it shows in my design work. I hope that just by seeing the selection of renders I put together, you can see that detail for me is king. It makes me different. I like to get to know what the client's needs are, and therefore the detail is the be-all and the end-all. And obviously you can all see that I'm passionate about modern kitchens. So if somebody also comes in saying they want a handmade traditional kitchen, I'm quite happy to recommend them to some of the local firms and say these are the people to go and see. I'm not desperate to sell everyone that walks through the door a kitchen. I only want people that are on my wavelength and want my kind of kitchens to work with me. So I'm here doing the kind of design work that I like to do with the detail that needs to be done to make the room right, so they come back to me time and time again.
This is a good one for you, Diane. Obviously, 35 years in the business, you've seen a lot of changes to the way that kitchens are made, presented, manufactured. They're going to put your experience here by asking, what do you see as being the latest trends in design? Are they market-led or media-led? Great question.
I think they're probably market-led. I don't really know how to answer that question. The trend at the moment is, and which is getting bigger and bigger, is to knock walls down and have open plan living. Nobody wants to be stuck in a room at the back of a house cooking in the kitchen anymore, where they can't see what the family is doing and make conversation and understand what if they've got children, what television programs they're watching and what they're doing on the web. So the trend is for that kind of lifestyle, and everything on television at the moment is about cookery, thank goodness. So all these fantastic bake-off programs are so good for our industry, that we all get to benefit from everybody wanting these amazing spaces where the family can get together and cook and bake and enjoy that environment. But so television has a big influence on things like which ovens they choose. Lots of people have seen in the British Bake Off the Neff slide-away door, so they come in wanting the oven that they've seen on television. So media kicks in there as well, so hard to answer.
And also with the design process, I mean, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I had a kitchen studio back in the very early 90s, and we were always taught on the working triangle, the preparation area, the cooking area, the storage area. But do you see a big difference now with the way kitchen become more of a social environment rather than where mother used to spend the time to prepare the meals?
The industry has changed so much, and I mean, I'm still learning. I've been here for 35 years, so you have to be willing to keep learning because everything does change. Yeah, there's no kitchen stuck at the back of the room anymore, and it's really exciting business to be in as long as you're willing to keep learning. There's nothing worse than a kitchen studio where you've got somebody with 1 year experience that's 15 years old, as opposed to 15 years experience. So I make a big effort to make sure I'm still learning and understanding the changes in what everybody needs from that room. So the industry is just evolving, and hopefully I'm able to keep evolving with it.
Okay, right. Another one here. Do you have a large waiting list, and how do you keep your customers happy that have to wait for your service? Do you contact them and keep in touch regularly? It's obviously a very high-profile studio, very busy there. How do you leverage and how do you keep everybody happy that wants designs to be done and wants your service?
Never sleep. That has to be the answer. Never sleep. So, yeah, try and keep in touch. I love email. I'm completely addicted to email because when you're very busy, it's very easy to just send a one-liner saying, hi, I'm not forgotten you, still working on your design, without it being a 10, 15-minute conversation. So it's a very positive, quick, easy way to keep in touch with your clients. So get their email addresses and use it to your advantage. I have to say at the moment, because we're so busy, I work on average 10 to 12-hour days. I work 6 days a week, and I've worked probably half days on Sundays as well. So no private life, and you prioritise your clients over everything else. So sorry to my husband if you're listening to this. But yeah, so customers are king, and yeah, try and keep in touch with them. It's communication, and try not to cherry pick. It's not fair that you look at your clients and you think, well, you've got more money than this one, so therefore I'm going to push you to the front of the queue. That's a really bad road to travel down. So you try and do them in the order that you've met them. And make sure you've got a good team behind you. I've got an absolutely amazing team of people behind me. So get some youngsters in and get some people training to learn the trade. It's not expensive to bring people in if you've got the space to bring them on. And there's lots of people out there wanting jobs and wanting to work hard for you. And
you're sure, I mean, obviously all these clients you get, we're in a very nice part of Manchester, a very high-profile studio on a main road near the traffic lights. A nice area. Where does most of your business come from? Is it recommendation? Is it drive-bys? Do you spend a lot of money on advertising? Where do all these customers come from, Diane?
Well, I do a bit of advertising. So we're advertising in, I always do double-page adverts, never bother with the small ones, don't think they work. So if you're going to advertise, do it properly. I personalise all my adverts, so advertising is only pictures of kitchens we've installed. Don't try and use glossy images of work that you've not done, because it bears no emotional feeling. When the clients walk in the studio, it can almost be a disappointment if your adverts don't match what you do. So make sure that the message is what they're going to see when they come in. But I'd have to say in the last 5 years, for me, it's all been about the internet. So keep your pictures going on the internet, keep blogging, keep emailing, keep everything on there. You don't have to pay to get on the first pages of Google, although everybody wants to tell you you have to. What you do is when you put an image on the net or on a blogger, make sure you label it and make sure your website has a blogger on it, so that as you're putting images onto your website, Google's recognising that you're constantly updating your website, and it'll say pretty high in the listings. And do beautiful work. Our work is absolutely stunning. Our clients are gorgeous. The clients want to write lovely things about us, and all of that makes for a very healthy business. So they keep coming back, which is nice. I keep smiling and looking after them, and they keep coming back.
And finally, what do you see happening to the kitchen trends in your next 35 years with Diane Berry Kitchens?
I think, well, I'm certainly not going to be here for the next 35 years. I can promise everybody that. I think the kitchen industry is evolving, and I think that the people at our level have to be really careful, because the sheds have realised that they can't keep doing what they do, and they're trying now to offer a more personalised service. So they're trying desperately to get closer to our marketplace. So we just need to focus on being more professional. I hope that in the next few years that the studios of this calibre, my calibre, and lots of you guys out there at my level, we can just get our heads together and just agree we start to charge. It's time that we were seen as designers and treated by our clients as designers. I do work that is as good as lots of architects that I know, and yet that people seem to think they can take this work away from me without so much as a thank you or a cup of tea. So I think that we need to get our heads together, find a way to get the youngsters training professionally and learning the trade properly, and that we get to charge for our work. So I hope that's the future of the kitchen business.
Okay, thanks, Diane. Well, one more coming through. Do you work with architects a lot already?
Yeah, work with architects all the time. I've managed to get architects to realise that I'm more than a kitchen designer. So what's nice is getting them to come to me nice and early, bring their clients to me nice and early, so that I get to change their work, and it's getting them to let me. So I'm very spoiled in that I've got these great architects that are willing to come and say, well, I've created a beautiful house, a stunning building, now can you work your magic on the inside? And they let me move walls and change windows and things like that. And yeah, so architects, I think, are the future of the relationships that we have to build to be able to get in early enough to do beautiful kitchens. So there's nothing, my heart sinks when somebody walks in and says, we've just built an extension. There it is, done and finished. Will you put the kitchen in it? When you actually know in your heart they built it wrong. So hopefully if we can all build relationships with architects and show them that we're more than salespeople trying to sell cupboards, they will respect us more, and the relationship will grow and grow.
And just an extension to that, Dan, the question is, do you actually communicate with the architects electronically, or do you do meetings? I mean, obviously Fusion has the Architects Export tool where we can bring in a design. Do you use that feature, or is it mainly meetings or paper plans?
Generally, it's paper plans. Most architects will contact me and say they're sending a client in, and then they will electronically send me the plans, but generally the clients walk in with it printed out. And then what I like to do is photocopy it, get a set of coloured pens, and then start to doodle concepts of shapes and changes and amendments we could make to the space. And then once we've come up with a scheme, I would then send it electronically back to the architect for him to then change the room to suit. So I hope that kind of covers everything that people are asking on that front. I do actually have lots of photographs of kitchens, so I don't know if anyone would like me to open a folder and just show you some additional work. So these are photographs of kitchens that we've done, and if you, so things like this house, where this doorway is, I punched that through there, so that was created as a suggestion from me. So that's working more as a spatial designer than actually just a kitchen designer, and it just gives you a feel of the kind of kitchens that we're doing. Lights on, lights off, and then here we've worked with the architect, so we designed where the ceiling light, the glass roof would be, so it lands balanced over the island, featuring the cats. So have a look and see the kind of work that we're doing. Hope these clients don't mind me putting all their pictures on. This was done for an architect, so this is in an architect's home. So I worked very closely with him, and in fact he hadn't even thought of putting the kitchen in this room. This was their dining room, and then we turned it round and created what was a very small kitchen over here, became the dining room, and then we were able to create another little snug for the children to play in, which is over here. So traditional house, and very modern kitchen sitting at the back. Carry on. This was an extension, so you can see here the house stopped there, so the client hadn't even thought about doing an extension. So I designed the extension and then brought in an architect to draw it for me. So that was something that came from my ideas. Lots of frogs. And then here's a traditional kitchen, so very rare that you see a kitchen of this style linked to myself. So this shows that Alno and myself can do a traditional cut door, typical chimney breast with a range cooker in it, but what a beautiful room, but it's still got a modern twist. So here the ovens are half cut into a wall and floating with lights underneath. So traditional doesn't have to be twee, it can have that lovely modern crisp styling about it. I love this kitchen, absolutely love this kitchen. Tiny, tiny little house with an older lady in it. I shall be careful what I say. So this is a lovely elderly lady on her own who was confident enough to choose bright colours. And the Fusion package made it very easy to convince this lady because of the drawings. So I hope that gives you a quick flavour of some of the different kitchens we do. Here we did a traditional cut door with a modern twist. So I shall keep clicking. Oh, keep coming back to that one. Let me then show you, if I can, if you've got time, just a few more renders. So here's a few that I just picked up this morning just to show you. This one was nominated in an International Design Award because we created the curved wall, and this door is a pocket door that slides to the side, and then you go in, and behind these ovens there's a fantastic, like a walk-in pantry fully shelved, full of all the spices. If you go on my website you'll be able to see pictures of this. But look, even on the Fusion package we were able to draw, this is a glass double-sided fireplace, and we were able to even get the effect of the flames in there. So Fusion, look, lights in the floor. So everything that we were doing for the client, we were able to recreate. Another kitchen here where we've done, this is a little pocket door, so this door slides into the wall and it goes through into a spice kitchen. So that's got a massive extractor and a hob in it, so that's where all the spicy Indian cooking is done, so that the whole open plan space isn't filled with all the cooking smells. So it's just thinking about your client's needs and then creating beautiful renders and that win you the business. So I shall click through a few more, and then I think I've probably bored you all to death with how ace I think I am. So apologies to everyone if you think I'm just here to blow my own trumpet. I just hope that I can get you all excited about the kitchen business and want to elevate it to being more about design than selling cupboards. So enjoy the trade.
Thanks, Diane. Okay, we're running out of time, unfortunately. Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank Diane for joining me on today's webinar. I really hope everyone's enjoyed it and taken some from it. And we'll obviously let you know when the next Sci and Die show is from 2020. I'd like to mention also that this webinar is recorded and it will be accessible through the 2020 community. You'll see a link on the screen there where you can join the community, and this recording will be posted along with the amazing work that Diane's done, showing some real kitchens and how they were created and sold in Fusion. I'd also like to thank everybody on the call for your attendance today. We may have missed a few technical questions, but please don't hesitate to contact our support team or join the community to repost any questions that you have, and we'll make sure that we follow them up for you with the right responses. So thanks again, Diane, and thank you all. Goodbye.